5 strange occurrences at a school far from the city. Everything took place at a school I attended, which my siblings also went to. My mother was a teacher at that school, and she found it more convenient to have my siblings and me study in the same place where she worked. The problem arose when she had to stay late grading papers. During those times, we had to wander around the school until she finished. The school's owner and principal didn't mind this. I won't mention the name of the institution. What's important is that it was located in a very remote area. I'm not exactly sure when the supernatural events began, but I'll share the most well-known ones and those I still remember. It's also worth noting that the cases aren't in chronological order. The second one might have happened before the first, and so on. I'm just recounting what comes to mind. The first case I'll share happened during exam season, when students would only come in to take their tests and could leave once they were done. Some students quickly went home, while others who lived far away waited for their parents to pick them up. So while they waited, they would chat or walk around the school. One of the students went up to the second floor to retrieve something she had forgotten. Within a few minutes, a sharp scream echoed down the hallway. One of the teachers, who was on the second floor grading papers, quickly went to see what was happening in the room where the scream came from. According to her, the student was curled up, crying desperately, and talking about a woman in the corner of the room who was staring at her non-stop. Even though the teacher tried to calm the girl down and reassure her that everything was okay, she admitted she didn't doubt the girl, as there had been other reports involving that same woman. A few days later, we found out that the girl had developed a fever and refused to return to school. Her parents don't know what she saw, but they believe it truly traumatized her. The second case is even more well-known, and this time, my brother was also present. This happened in the middle of the year. The students in one of the second-floor classrooms were causing a ruckus, while the teacher tried to calm them down, when suddenly, the classroom door slammed shut. This was strange because there were no open windows and no draft that could have caused the door to slam. One of the students tried to open the door, but it simply wouldn't budge. Other students crouched down to look under the door and saw something very strange. My brother swears to this day that it's true. They saw 2 feet, thin and pale, standing right in front of the door. The students were terrified, and the teacher didn't believe what they were saying until she crouched down to see for herself. My brother says that, for the first time, he saw the teacher lose her composure. She was screaming louder than the students. She was terrified, he told me. Because of the commotion and the screams, other teachers and students came out of their rooms to see what was happening. As soon as people started arriving, my brother says the door mysteriously opened, and to this day, no one knows what that was. It seemed like whatever was on the other side was holding the door, keeping us trapped in there. It was bizarre, he concluded. The third case is something my mother told me. According to her, strange things always happened on that floor, and the situation only got worse over time. She says this happened when she had to stay alone at the school to grade papers, which was already normal for her, and ghost stories didn't scare her anymore. I've seen this woman several times, in other classrooms, sometimes in the hallway, and I just tried to ignore her. When you're a single mother with 3 kids, a ghost doesn't seem like a big deal, she told me, with a little laugh before getting serious again. That's what happened again that day. She said she needed to go to the bathroom and, on the way, saw the shadow of that woman passing by her side. As usual, she just ignored it. She went to the bathroom and then returned to the room where she continued grading her papers. She says she was focused on the papers when she lifted her head and there she was, the woman, standing where the last rows of school desks were. The entity seemed to be watching her, but my mother couldn't say for sure because the woman's hair covered much of her face. For the first time, I felt a little scared. She told me. The woman disappeared after what seemed like an eternity. She concluded by saying that it only happened that one time. But sometimes, when she stays late grading papers, she gets that same feeling of being watched. The fourth case I call the last straw, because it's what made the school's owner take action about the events. It happened when the principal's sister came to visit. At one point, she decided to go to the bathroom. Everything seemed fine, but then we saw her come out of the bathroom trembling and crying. When asked what had happened, she said that when she looked in the mirror, she saw a pale, extremely thin creature with long hair behind her. Given the seriousness of the situation, the owner realized she needed to do something. Within a few days, she brought in a priest to pray in all the classrooms, bathrooms, and other areas of the school. I'm not sure if the occurrences decreased because my siblings and I were no longer studying there. I found out about this case because my mother told me. She still works there, but doesn't talk much about it. The fifth case happened when I was still a student there. It was one of the scariest for all of us. I must have been about 10 years old at the time. The school janitor was a well-known figure, always joking around and making everyone laugh. The students adored him. One day, one of the teachers arrived early and decided to go up to the second floor to organize her classroom. When she got there, she found the janitor lying on the floor. At first, she thought it was just another one of his pranks and even made a few jokes until she touched him and realized it wasn't a joke. The janitor was dead. Curiously, he died in the same room where, later on, the girl from the first case said she saw that woman.